This is News Bits on Fuxion TV. Here are the headlines. University Lecturers Union in Nigeria, ASU, calls a 5-month strike. Hundreds killed in fresh clashes in South Sudan. Kenyan freedom fighter Uhuru Kanja has died. Mandela bronze statue unveiled in Pretoria. Britain to assist Jamaica in monitoring deportees. US issues new warning on crime in the Bahamas. These and more when we return. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to Fuxion TV. This is News Bits. I'm Nike Roberts. A 5-month strike by lecturers of public universities in Nigeria has been called off after the government paid for refurbishments. The government had initially pledged to spend $1.3 billion to refurbish public universities. Union leaders confirmed that ASU received proof that the government had deposited a significant portion of the pledged amount into the development fund at the central bank. An official of the union, Carol Ogbinaka, stated to local media in the country, "We implore our members to go back to class and the government to keep to every part of the agreement." Clashes erupted on Sunday in South Sudan and continued into Monday. The government said it had crushed an attempted coup after President Salva Kiir suggested that a group of soldiers loyal to former Vice President Riek Machar had tried to take power Sunday night but were defeated. Fresh violence broke out on Tuesday in Juba, the capital city, near the presidential palace, and has spread into surrounding areas. Earlier, the government claimed that 10 senior political figures had been arrested with likely connection to the failed coup. UN diplomats reported that the death toll could be between 400 and 500 and warned that the 2-year-old nation could be at the brink of a civil war. In Kenya, former Nyeri County Cabinet Minister and freedom fighter Uhuru Kanja has died. Kanja was a former freedom fighter who was jailed by the colonial British government for his part in the Mau Mau Rebellion. He served in both President Jomo Kenyatta and Daniel Arap Moi's regimes. President Uhuru Kenyatta described him as a true son of Kenya and a patriot who contributed immensely to the struggle for the country's independence. A 30-foot-tall bronze statue of Nelson Mandela was unveiled at the Union Buildings in Pretoria on Monday, December 16, South Africa's Reconciliation Day. This used to be a public holiday under the apartheid regime, commemorating the victory over the Zulus in 1838. When Mandela became president in 1994 at the end of minority rule, he urged South Africans to use the day to unite. The statue has Mandela stretching his arms, which President Zuma said represents him embracing the nation. The message of unity seemed lost on about 1,000 Afrikaners who gathered on a hilltop decrying the state of the nation as it is ruled and controlled by black South Africans. Former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo has written an 18-page letter to President Goodluck Jonathan, generating uproar in the country. In his letter, Obasanjo accused President Jonathan of ruling as a dictator, driving the country to the brink by allowing corruption and mutual distrust, also stating that his administration has long lost the goodwill of ordinary Nigerians. Several civil and religious groups have demanded that President Goodluck respond to the letter or resign. In a surprising development, the daughter of former President Obasanjo has supposedly written an open letter to her father, ruling out further communication with him till death. Senator Obasanjo-Bello described him as a liar, manipulator, two-faced hypocrite, determined to impose on President Goodluck Jonathan what no one could have dared with him as president. She further accused him of having an egoistic craving for power and living a life where only men of low esteem and intellect thrive. There have been recent claims by local media in the country that the well-circulated letter is a hoax. Britain and Jamaica have signed a memorandum of understanding for an 18-month project aimed at boosting the capacity of the Deportee Monitoring Unit, DMU. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, retired Major General Stuart Saunders, and British High Commissioner David Fitton signed the MOU on December 13. the government of Jamaica's efforts to improve the monitoring and management of criminal deportees have been reinforced with this agreement. 4 days after acting Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis was robbed in his home, the United States Embassy in Nassau Friday warned Americans living in and traveling to the Bahamas to be on the alert as armed robbery remains a major threat facing U.S. visitors and residents. An email sent by the embassy stated, "As the holiday season nears with its many celebrations, there is unfortunately an increase in criminal activity. It therefore called for an increased awareness of common activities which can directly impact personal security." As protesters marked the third anniversary of the beginning of the Arab Spring, several hundred opposition activists gathered in the Tunisian central town of Sidi Bouzid, regarded as the birthplace of the Arab pro-democracy uprisings, protesting against the lack of progress, including high unemployment. President Monsef Marzouki, in a statement to the BBC, agreed that there were problems such as corruption, but Tunisia is relatively successful and is doing quite well. The Arab Spring began early 2011 when a jobless man, Mohammed Bouazizi, set fire to himself after officials prevented him from selling vegetables. The subsequent protests led to the toppling of longtime President Zine Al Abidine Ben Ali and saw popular protests challenge authoritarian leaders in several Middle East and North African countries. The international police organization Interpol is seeking public assistance in tracking down international fugitives linked to organized crime networks and are wanted for various offenses, including murder and drug trafficking. Interpol said Tuesday that Operation Infra-Americas, which involves 46 countries and territories in the Caribbean, Central and South America, is targeting 266 fugitives believed to be hiding in Central America and the Caribbean. Members of the public are being asked to provide information to help locate 15 individuals, including Rafael Caro Quintero, the former leader of the Guadalajara cartel in Mexico. Interpol said countries and territories taking part in Operation Infra-Americas include Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Bahamas, Belize, Bermuda, Dominica, Guadeloupe, Guyana, Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Trinidad and Tobago. With about 9 million Americans traveling to the Caribbean each year, the CDC has warned of an outbreak of chikungunya on the island of St. Martin. Chikungunya has been a problem in Africa and Asia since it was first identified in Tanzania about 60 years ago. An outbreak in 2006 sickened more than 1.5 million people in India. Chikungunya has stayed out of the Americas until now, but U.S. health officials have been on the lookout for its arrival. Center for Disease Control Director Dr. Tom Frieden said in a statement Wednesday, "Microbes know no boundaries, and the appearance of chikungunya virus in the Western Hemisphere represents another threat to health security. Our experts have predicted and prepared for its arrival for several years, and there are surveillance systems in place to help us track it." The mosquito that carries the virus is the Asian tiger mosquito, already a familiar pest in many parts of the U.S. during the summer. The virus causes a high fever, headache, and arthritis-like pain in the joints. Symptoms usually clear up within a week or so, and the illness is rarely fatal, but there is no vaccine or treatment for chikungunya. Recently in Atlanta, Georgia, the African Leadership magazine held a forum showcase highlighting the investment opportunities in Nigeria's non-oil sectors of the economy. Mr. Ken Giami, the publisher of the magazine, opened up the event with a few remarks touching on unlocking Nigeria's untapped investment potential for development. The event was well graced by members of the business community as well as state legislators who have been working to improve and grow trade relations between Nigeria and the state of Georgia.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this gathering is designed to deepen Nigerian-American trade relations in more ways than one. Much has been said and written about Nigeria's tremendous potentials, and the time is now to attain this greatness. As As an organization that believes in promoting private enterprise growth and sustainable development on the continent, the African Leadership Magazine has been in the forefront of building partnerships in all its ramifications.
There are 4 quick points that I would like to make that China has done successfully. It's a proven equation. It is not exclusive to China, but it is something that certainly the United States ought to begin to employ. And that is one, political equality, how we view the continent and how we view doing business with the continent. Secondly, mutual trust, and that's something that has been missing. Economic cooperation and cultural exchange, and I think that harkens to, when you talk about cultural exchange, that harkens to education as well. So once again, just 4 and no more. Mutual trust, political equality, economic cooperation, and cultural exchange. And I think that is how we begin to move that ball forward down the field. We've done it here in Georgia, and it's something that's going to have to happen all over the United States. The conversation has to be had that there are those of us who do know that Africa is indeed open for business.
But this year we were able to pass resolution number 9, and as a result, our Economic Development Department is looking to do more business with Nigeria and all of Africa. And I know that Africa is open for business. A little bit more now.
And now to sports. The Turkish Football Federation has confirmed it will not punish Galatasaray stars Didier Drogba and Emmanuel Eboué for their on-pitch tributes to the late Nelson Mandela. Both players were expected to receive fines for highlighting their messages of appreciation. Drogba's message read, "Thank you, Madiba," while Eboué had "Rest in peace, Nelson Mandela" on his vest. Here is UEFA Champions League round of 16 draw. Now here's a question that has put people at loggerheads with each other in recent times, and we're hoping you guys can provide an answer to it so we can finally put the matter to rest. Is Santa Claus black or white? Well, send your answers to our Facebook page at Fuxion TV ATL or Twitter at Fuxion TV ATL. Thanks for joining us on this week's News Bits. We'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe.